So I'm just going to wrap up my feelings on obstetrics and gynecology, or OB-GYN, before I continue next week with how things are going in pediatrics, or peds. So basically, after psychiatry and after internal medicine, I was thinking to myself, like, uh-oh, I'm liking everything. What am I going to do? How am I going to make a decision on which residency I want to do? And then I got to OB-GYN, and wasn't feeling it at all. The thing about OB-GYN is that it's very female, which I thought would be awesome, but you know, day in and day out, when it's only females that you're working with, only females that you're working on, gets a little gets to be a little bit too much. You know, we call it toxic levels of estrogen at a certain point. So I mean, I'm reluctant to write it off completely because you know, like I mentioned before, I'm really interested in the whole healthcare reform thing and public health and all those kinds of things. And if I were to become a gynecologist, that would put me in a really nice position for, you know, women's issues. And the practice overall is really nice because you get aspects of the clinical, aspects of the surgical, and you also get continuity with your patients, so you see the same people over and over again. But I find the OR to be kind of stressful, and you know, it's not as appealing as I thought it would be. You know, going into med school, I thought I wanted to do surgery. That was kind of why I went, is because it sounded absolutely fascinating. But having spent a significant time in the OR now, I find it kind of stressful, and it was kind of a relief to get out of it. So basically, OB-GYN is kind of crossed off my list, surprising as that might be. I mean, I'll reopen the subject if I find out that I totally love surgery after doing that rotation, but yeah, I think it's pretty much not an issue at this point. Also, you know, it's just, I saw some pretty gross stuff on it, quite frankly. There were, you know, abscesses and infections and childbirth even. You know, people talk about the miracle of childbirth, and it looked horrible. I mean, that's not to say that, you know, I actually did get to do a delivery on my last day, which was pretty cool. Up until that point, I've been kind of disappointed because, you know, the way things worked out, I was at a local private hospital instead of at the public hospital where most of my classmates and friends were at. And as such, you know, in private hospitals, they have a lot more like legal liability issues and that sort of thing. You know, people generally speaking have a lot more resources. So if something goes wrong, then, you know, they tend to get pretty mad about it. In contrast to the county hospital where, you know, people are consider themselves lucky just to have gotten treatment. So consequently, med students don't get to do as much at private hospitals as they do in public ones. So I think that's another reason why I didn't like OB-GYN so much, was because all through internal medicine, I basically was treated just like a first-year resident, which was awesome. You know, from the first week, my senior, the one who was in charge of our team, she was like, "This is my number. You can write orders on it. Don't do anything dramatic. If you're unsure about anything, give me a call and we'll discuss it. But I trust you. And if a medicine that they're already on needs to be increased, go ahead and do it," and things of that nature. So I was given a lot of autonomy, and I was able to work, you know, pretty much independently, which was awesome. In OB-GYN, however, there is, you know, in addition to being at the private hospital, there's ridiculous amounts of liability. So they barely gave me computer access, let alone prescription power and that sort of thing. So yeah, it wasn't as much fun as I was hoping it would be. The surgery was pretty cool, actually. You know, OR was stressful, but the things they do are absolutely amazing. And, you know, I had the opportunity to go in and see some C-sections and a sling procedure for prolapse and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, like the things that the residents get to do it's awesome. On my last day also, my last day was pretty eventful. They let me make the opening incision on laparoscopic hysterectomy. So that was cool, and I got to do some manipulations with the tools, and the surgeon I was with was real big on teaching, so he involved me in a lot of what he was doing, and it was awesome. Yeah, and then the delivery was also pretty cool. It happened to be on my mom's birthday, so it was kind of nice symmetry as far as I was concerned, and I don't know, it's a cool specialty, and like I said, if it ends up that I just absolutely can't live without the OR after my surgical rotation, I'll give it another look, but yeah, it's pretty much off my list. So yeah, that was OB-GYN. We'll see how I did on the shelf, which was actually one of the better tests I've seen for rotation so far. I've been talking about this a lot with my friends. The tests they give us for rotations are ridiculous. Not even in that they're hard. I mean, they are hard, but they're just not very good tests. And especially the standardized patient tests that they give, the OSCEs, ridiculous. And it's not even like I would mind getting a bad grade on a good test. Getting a bad grade on a bad test is just annoying. Especially if you've been doing a good job up until then. So, good news is for peds, we don't have an OSCE. Yay! The OSCE was by far my least favorite part of all of the rotations, so not having one makes peds look a lot better. And I don't know, I hear the shelf is pretty hard, but I'm at the local children's hospital that specializes just in children. So the residents I'm working with are pretty cool, and the things I'm getting to do there are pretty cool. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll talk a lot more about that next week. Until then, take care.